Domestic players tend to be more long-term investors. We see many family offices acting, and their business plan has nothing to do with any kind of fund. I mean, what they say is that they want to have a nice building for themselves, their sons, their grandsons. So it's quite remote that they will be putting assets in the market. We've seen many funds that were not able or didn't want to sell at a certain moment in time in 2012, 13, 14, who are now able to put assets in the market. Funds that should have closed a couple of years ago that couldn't do it because it made no economic sense are putting assets in the market. Sometimes, as you say, it's just flipping assets. One fund settles to the next one, and so on. We see other kind of investors who are trying to redevelop, put assets in the market, but it's still difficult. So I don't see many big assets coming to the market. What we are seeing is a normality in the market in terms of size for the different projects. At the beginning of the end of the crisis, there were large portfolios. When Sareb was selling big portfolios. There were big assets. First big deal that took place was Castellana 200, which was a large development. Now you see more of the size of 40 million, 60 million, that kind of asset. Now 120 or above that. So our market, there's movement, but not in the big numbers. There's big number of transactions, I would say, Jose.
Yeah,
but not huge transaction. I think the biggest this year was 100.
There are different dynamics in retail and in shopping centers and offices. Shopping centers are completely dominated by international funds. So their dynamic, the same asset, the same fund managers can be selling one thing and buying another one at the same time, and they're pretty much the same. It's just the time maturity has come for one of the assets, and they're reinvesting for another guys on the other. So it's a much more dynamic market in terms of ownership. If you jump into offices, a significant chunk of the Spanish office market is in the hands of non-traders. That means Spanish insurance companies. Difficult to convince them to sell. The Spanish propcos, the Colonials, the GMPs, the Metrovacises, etc. Difficult to convince them to sell. And the Socimis were still under this 3-year Pax Socimi, so nobody's going to sell. So there's definitely a scarcity of product, and it is basically because of the nature of who owns the asset more than the asset class itself.
Okay, and do you think that will change a little bit when this 3 years for the Socimis finishes? Is that going to change things?
The Socimis will be putting product in the market that has what they've made money in order to reflect that they've fulfilled their business plans. I think there will be some product coming.